All right, so I am super excited about starting this next block as we've broken it up in Servicewomen and Leadership. And so it seems really appropriate as our keynote, Col Eries Mentzer is the AFSOC A7, or the Director of Air Commando Development. She's also the champion for Dagger Athena in AFSOC. And so I can't think of anybody better to get us kicked off in the Servicewomen and Leadership than Col Mentzer. So, ma'am, take it away.
Good morning. That coming through okay? All right. Before I get started, I have to give a special thanks to Ned and Linda. So I had a crazy adventure to get here and here without my speech, but Ned and Linda were able to come through and help me make sure I had the right words to share with you today. So Ned back there in the booth, Linda at the front desk. Please give them a round of applause because they are exceptional and allowing me to show up as my best self as I'm here with you today. So good morning, I'm Col Eries Mentzer. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an American Air Commando, and I am humbled to join you here today, the Valkyrie Project and MIT Lincoln Laboratory, as well as all of you, to talk about how we can secure more freedom to serve. First, I want to give a special thanks to Lieutenant General Stacey Harris for recommending me as a speaker to Mr. Cleaves. Mr. Cleaves, are you here? He's not here today. He's here at the Lincoln Laboratory. They had connected, and that's how I came to connect with all of you, so I want to thank Mr. Cleaves. General Harris has been an inspiration and a mentor to me throughout my career. We first met at a Tuskegee Airmen Conference when I was a captain, and she took me on as a mentee. If you don't know her, Lieutenant General Stacey Harris achieved the highest rank of any black woman in the Air Force, and has long helped me see myself and others see themselves in higher levels of our service. So I'm grateful for her continued presence in my journey and the opportunity to join you here today. I also want to thank Meg Tucker for living her passion for removing barriers to service and leading the Valkyrie Project. Meg, where are you, Meg? I didn't get to meet you. Snuck out. All right. Somebody tell her I talked about her. Meg, your service will help our nation better leverage all of America's talent so we can win. So what does it mean to win? For special operations, winning for the past 25 years has meant multiple back-to-back deployments to counter a lesser adversary in the Middle East. The pipeline of talent was plenty, fueled by the tragic yet unifying day on 9/11. Americans united around a common purpose: to defend our democracy, secure our borders, and stabilize the Middle East, for the very real possibility of great power competition. Oops, excuse me 1 second, I skipped a page here. For many, being American meant uniformed service, deploying to the front lines, supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. As the tactics and techniques of our adversaries evolved, more gave their fullest measure, some the ultimate sacrifice, and as we witnessed ordinary women achieve extraordinary success on the battlefield, our nation expanded more roles for women in service. Today, winning means something different. Today we face a near-peer adversary whose long game of securing ports and pathways, both here and in space, is awakening us to the very real possibility of great power competition. At the same time, more emphasis on the differences and definitions of America and American are starting to divide us. Our recruiting is weakened, with fewer qualified Americans fit enough to join our formations, and even fewer with the propensity to serve. And while more women share their talents in our armed forces, legacy policies, male-centric practices and provisions inhibit our freedom to serve. This is not the first time. 7 December 1941, also a tragic yet unifying day for our nation. Women and men from all sectors of America answered the call to service. Winning against fascism meant our nation needed every American to win. For some in America, Serving in World War II meant a chance to fully share talents, even if it meant regulation to less meaningful roles in separate but not equal units, and for less reward, pay, or benefits, but with hope. Hope that serving abroad against fascism would contribute to more democracy and equality here at home in America. One woman served as a seamstress and secretary at an Army Air Corps base hotel in World War II. For this black woman, life in the segregated South was regulated to the margins of society and constantly threatened by a presumption of guilt. She rode a segregated bus through Montgomery, Alabama, but once on Maxwell Air Force Base, she had the freedom to choose where to sit. In her autobiography, called My Story, this experience, she says, opened her eyes to what was possible. Miss Rosa Parks' defiant no on 1 December 1955 would integrate federal transportation for our nation. A second woman, Ramay Davis, grew up in rural Virginia, one of 6 kids. She and her 5 brothers all believed in and committed themselves to the dream of American freedom and justice. All of them served in World War II. The only girl of 6 kids in the family, Ramay would serve in the only all-black, all-female unit of women to go overseas in World War II. She and the 855 women of the 688th Central Postal Directory Battalion would resolve the Army's crisis of mail in World War II, clearing a backlog of over 17 million pieces of mail, and restoring unit morale on the front lines and family hope at home. Thanks to the persistent advocacy of Colonel retired Edna Cummings, in 2022, President Biden awarded the 688th the Congressional Gold Medal. At 102 years old, Ramay Davis was the oldest living member of the unit, and only one of 6 of the 855 women of the 688th to be alive to receive that Congressional Gold Medal recognition. Following World War II, President Truman saw indicators of great power competition. At the same time, he was awakened by heroic service by Americans in World War II that in best cases meant less pay, benefits, and opportunities, but at worst made some higher targets for violence for their service. President Truman was alarmed at America's untrained and unfit citizens. 33% of American males of service age were not fit to serve in World War II. So President Truman engaged. In 1948, he signed the Women's Armed Service Integration Act, moving women from auxiliary to full-serving members. In 1948, President Truman signed Executive Order 9980, desegregating the federal service. In 1948, President Truman signed Executive Order 9981, desegregating the military. He wanted all Americans to fully serve so we could win. President Truman also launched the Universal Military Training Plan, requiring all males age 18 to 20 to take a year of military training and be on standby in a general reserve for 6 years, prepared should we go to World War III. He also launched the National Health Initiative, challenging Congress to drive our nation to not treat symptoms of poor health, but to incentivize more healthy lifestyles so when World War III came, we would win. With all of this, President Truman directed the DoD, non-military Department of Defense, to develop an action plan on how these orders would be implemented. The plan was published in 1950. It's called the Freedom to Serve Report. It provides the department's founding ideals of a fully inclusive force. Today, the freedom to serve means having tactical vests and cold weather gear that fit all of our air commandos. The freedom to serve means having a way for females on long sorties to relieve themselves without practicing tactical dehydration and putting themselves, their crews, or our mission at risk. Today, the freedom to serve means pregnancy in itself is not a limiting condition. We can still fly. We can still deploy. We can still fill duties at CENTCOM headquarters and NORTHCOM headquarters, and even go forward while growing the next generation of warfighters in our bellies. As the Dagger Athena champion for Air Force Special Operations Command, I'm pleased to report there are amazing air commandos of all ranks and all genders who have been unapologetically challenging these outdated practices and policies and making our formations more lethal, more ready, so we can win. Ordinary women just like you and me are doing extraordinary things to challenge the status quo, identifying actionable solutions, and removing barriers to service so we all have more freedom to serve. By defiantly saying no to the way things have always been, AFSOC's Dagger Athena are ensuring all talented Americans can rise to their fullest potential in our formations. All qualified Americans can have the freedom to serve in special operations. On the propensity to serve, AFSOC established the Outreach Unit. Could our Outreach Unit members with me today please stand? I see you all, come on. Thank you, ladies. The Outreach Unit is sharing the story of who we are and what we, quiet professionals with the guts to try, do in service to our nation. We hope they can excite you and those you know to want to serve too, so we can win. Now, more than ever, our nation needs the best of America's talent to win. We stand on the shoulders of generations of ordinary women who did extraordinary things to challenge the status quo and pave our path to service. Women like Sharon Frontiero, a lieutenant who sued the Secretary of Defense when DoD policy stated men automatically get dependent rate for their wives, but women must prove their husbands are dependent on them to get the same benefit. Her ACLU lawyer, by the name of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it's a good lawyer to have, took the case all the way to the Supreme Court, and she won, implementing equal pay for all of the DoD. It was RBG's first appearance before the Supreme Court, and it set the foundation for women's equality cases going forward. As the commander of Maxwell Air Force Base previously, Sharon Frontiero had worked on my base when she defiantly said no to pay discrimination. I brought Sharon back almost 50 years after her courageous act and memorialized her actions with granite steps, leading into Maxwell Air Force Base Hospital where she had once served. These steps in honor of Sharon Frontiero highlight the steps she took for equal pay. I encourage you to visit it and honor her. And while at Maxwell, where Alabama humidity can cause hair like mine to grow like a chia pet, it's secured by all this gel and bun today, I also got the Air Force to implement the adjustable band tactical cap for garrison wear. If we can wear it downrange, why can't we wear it in the humidity of Alabama? Now women don't have to carry multiple size hats to wear throughout the day just to serve. I combed out my hair in all of its Afro full glory to demonstrate to our mostly bald Air Force senior leadership how much goes into shifting myself into a one-size-fits-all, and they helped make the change. Air Force leaders had to see it to believe it. But now, tactical adjustable caps are out for everyone. I'm able to stand here today thanks to the incredible legacy of women who paved my path. Women like Rosa Parks, women like May Davis. To extend my thanks to Miss Rosa and Mr. May, and hopefully excite a new generation of confident, competent, and courageous women, on 1 December 2020, the 65th anniversary of Rosa Parks' arrest, I led the unveiling of the Rosa Parks Opening Eyes sculpture on Maxwell Air Force Base, in the place where she once served. Air Force Secretary Barbara Barrett, our highest-ranking Department of the Air Force civilian, stood with me to honor Miss Rosa Parks. On 26 July, the 74th anniversary of Executive Order 9981 that desegregated the military, I officiated the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony for Mr. May Davis. Today, Mr. May is 104. She drank 4 margaritas at her 104th birthday party. Clearly the key to a life well lived. I joined her at the World War II Museum this past Veterans Day to unveil her hologram. The hologram will tell her story and the story of the amazing women of the 688th, almost forgotten to history, long beyond their time. The 688 movie by Tyler Perry and the musical by Blair Underwood will release later this year. I encourage you to see them and honor the 688. For these seemingly great actions, some took great offense, and there were counteractions. In your challenging of the status quo, you too may face those who want to delay, deny, or disrupt your actions, or even try and destroy you. Persist. And don't go it alone. Thanks to the amazing women like my mentor, Lieutenant General Stacey Harris, who connected me with all of you, Colonel Edna Cummings, who was the powerful force behind the 688 Congressional Gold Medal legislation, Colonel Denise Kerr, my first base sponsor and forever friend, Air University librarian Lexi Aldridge, who works diligently to bring forgotten narratives forward to inspire today's generations, National World War II Museum senior curator Kim Guise, who launched the Our War II exhibit to highlight the stories of women who helped us win in World War II, and so many more. I never had to go it alone, and you shouldn't either. My time on this stage and in this uniform, I saw your 5 minutes, are coming to an end. The baton is now passed. This is your moment in time. Have the confidence, have the competence, have the courage, and don't go it alone. Challenge the status quo, remove barriers. All of the sheroes and heroes who paved our path to service and those who follow in our paths are counting on you. Get out there, don't go it alone, and I'm here to help you secure more freedom to serve. Thank you.